Hello everybody, CW here. We're going to do a quick video that was requested. It's one that I had before on the old channel, and it was well liked and it worked really good. So we're going to do a little bit more with it. And it's 410 slug loads. A little bit different than what you might be used to. And I'm making the projectiles out of some 40 caliber bullets, 175 grain, with some 36 stump gas seals. And I'll show you all that, and I'll show you some of the data, where I get it and what's going on. So here we go. Let's start out. This is from Ballistic Products. Okay. And this is their buckshot manual. This is the 4th edition. And I don't remember what it costs, but it's not too much. And they've got a whole bunch of different ones, you know, specific for gauges, and then for different kinds of shot, steel shot and the ITX shot and different things, you know, brass shotgun shells and just different stuff. And it's pretty good. You can go there and they got a pretty good stock of a lot of things that you're going to want or you're going to need. And in here is data for all the different loads. So you just follow it down: 10 gauge, 20 gauge, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, 28 gauge, you know, whatever you might want. It gives you some talk on how to put things together, the names of things. It's not a great reloading manual, but it's pretty good specialized. So if you've already got a basic knowledge, this is going to be a good asset to you. You know, they offer some buckshot, and here's where the loads start in the back. I'm just leafing through here to get to the 410 stuff that I used for mine. Of course, 12 gauge is going to dominate. You know, most of your loads is going to be 12 gauge stuff, and 410 is going to be at the back. So there's 3-inch 410, 2.5-inch 410, and here we go. Okay, so here is the load ID number. There's your gauge. Of course, we know 410 is not a gauge, but that's what they're calling it. They use the Cheddite hull. Now, I've been able to use Winchester hulls interchangeably without a problem. Cheddite primer, because Cheddite's a little bit different sized. They're still a 209, but they're just a little bit different. Little gunpowder, and you can see that they're ranging here with the different wads with their amounts of powder. Here's one of the loads I used: 15 grains of powder, little gunpowder. That's the gas seal nitro card. They used a stump wad plus 1 000 buck plus a stump wad and 1 000 buck. So they're using two stump wads and 2 000 buck shot. And they got 1,350 feet per second. Here's my Ellie. I'm down to visit. So this is what, you know, you can weigh that out and figure that out and know what you need. Now, again, a lot of these loads are based on the internal volume of your hull. So they're all set up so that the length of your hull with its internal volume is going to allow you to crimp and get a good pressure inside your, not pressure powder, pressure compressing the load components together, because that's important with shotgun. Everything is compressed together, and if you don't get it compressed together, you're going to get bloopers. They're going to be just, you know, you're going to get a light bang, and then the shot's just going to fall out of the end of the barrel, or in this case the slug, because it wasn't allowed to compress to build pressure to work properly. So that's the downside. And you know, the pressures you're dealing with, especially with my load there, you know, your 8,500, they're going up to 1,100, you know, 1,200 psi. So you're pretty low with that load. It gives you a little bit of latitude. Not to say that you can change the charge weight, but it just gives you latitude to know that, you know, you're not dealing with a top pressure load, but you're getting pretty good velocity. You know, 1,350 feet per second. If you look at some of the loads, the velocities on some of the loads you buy, they're less than that. So anyway, that's where I get the data from, and this is where I recommend that you go to. Pick yourself up one of these from Ballistic Products. And while you're there, you're going to want to order these stump 36s. Okay, there's your number, 0724105. I don't remember the cost, but it's not much. I want to say $10 or something, 12 bucks, something like that. It wasn't much, 250 of them. And I grab a couple bags at a time. And then I just convert them over, and I got a buddy who loves Kool-Aid, so he gives me these containers. And they're great because they give me a lid that's more like a cup or a bowl. And the way the container is, I just really like them. Anyway, so here's what you're buying. This is a stump wad, what I call a stump wad. They call it a stump 2. It's a gas seal, and it's the same on both sides. So it can go in either way. And it'll allow you to set a ball in there, or in our case, we're going to use one of these 40 caliber bullets like this. And we're going to press it in there and glue it in. Just like that. And it's got a little bit of room. So you want a little bit of room because you got to have room for the glue. And what we're going to use for glue is going to be hot melt glue. So you gotta work pretty quick here, and you got to get the right amount in there, because if you get too much, it's going to squirt out all over the place and make a great big mess. So I like to put it in there, give it a good twist, make sure it's straight. Twisting it allows the glue to move around inside there, so you get a good seal. And you can see that we don't really have a whole lot of glue in there. You can see where it's stuck in just a few spots. So that tells me I got to put a little more glue in there. It'll still work, and get it as straight as you can. And there's your projectile. Okay, so let's do another one. A stump wad. Get some glue. Squirt it in there. Get a bullet. Push it in. Spin it around. Make sure you get it good and square. And a good swirl of glue. You see we got some streamers here. And you see we got a little bit of glue sticking out the side. That's fine. You can always cut it off after. You can always cut all this off after. It won't hurt anything. And go ahead and get your projectiles all glued up. See it nice and straight. That nose profile really lets it fit there good. Now a little note about diameters. These were sized 401, and if you measure up your bores on your 410s, most of the time 410s come with a full choke. Now a full choke is going to be probably in the 390 range. Could be 385, could be 392. It's going to vary for manufacturers. It's going to vary with use. It's going to vary from model to model inside the same brand of gun. It's just not a constant. So those guns with a full choke tube may not work well with these. Matter of fact, you're going to have to squeeze this down when it goes through the barrel. So it's going to raise pressure. So it may not be a good choice for a full choked 410. I use these for mine because what I'm shooting them out of in particular is my sawed off. It's got a 19-inch barrel or so. I've showed it a few times. Maybe I'll drag it out for the back of this video. We're already almost 10 minutes in, so I don't want to make it too long, but it's sawed off, so it's got no choke at all. So it's just like a rifle barrel. So it's 410 or 411 or so diameter all the way down. So this is going to open up enough to seal, and being inside the shotgun shell, it's going to work out pretty good for sealing. What I got with these was probably, I'm going to say 6 or 7 inch 100-yard accuracy with a bead sight. So if you had a scope on it or a red dot, I guarantee you could do better. And it was amazing to see how good these shot. And it's, we're going along on a theory that Brennicky came up with attaching the skirt or the wad to the slug. They screw it right to it. And it makes for a longer projectile. Weight forward, long tail, good stability. And it really does work. These shoot really well. The downfall that I found was the glue. If I didn't get them glued good, they would come apart. And you could see that they would hit in probably a 10 or 15 foot circle out at 100 yards when they came apart. So they were woefully inadequate if they came apart. But when they stayed together, I could easily keep them on a silhouette, chest area of a silhouette, you know, in the kill zone without any problem. So I wouldn't hesitate at all for these to be used on game, small game, you know, critters, barnyard type stuff, woodchucks, raccoons, grinners, you know, stuff like that, skunks, you know, stuff like that that you want to get out of the hen house, but you want to have a little more punch than you would get from birdshot. So for that, this would be dynamite. You know, you're talking about 50 yards, you're talking about a smaller critter, and that would be devastating. That great big flat 40 caliber hunk of lead hitting them, 175 grains. You know, that would be a good projectile going at 1,400 feet per second. If you think about loads, that's solid 10 millimeter territory. So good power. All right, let's cut this off. We got about 11-12 minutes here. I will do some more. We'll do some loading. Again, I showed you the load. How you load them is very simple. You prime your case. You charge it with powder. You seat one of these down. You press it down to compress the powder. The powder is going to be under here. And then you roll crimp it. So what I do is I just cut the casing off till it's about that much above the end of this bullet. And then I roll the rest of that in with a roll crimper on the drill press. So my cases are probably a little longer than the 44 mag. But it doesn't matter because I'm in a single shot. I don't have an action to worry about feeding. And again, diameter. I don't have a fat diameter, choked barrel diameter to worry about sending these down, which could very well be an issue. So I don't recommend these being shot through a full choke. There you go. That's it. God bless everybody. Have fun. Be safe. CW out.